Hello, and welcome to another episode of Craven Some Raven. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the man himself, John Harbaugh. Maybe going into league-wide stuff about him, how, you know, just talking John Harbaugh. It could lead anywhere. I don't even know. I don't even have an outline for this episode. I was just going to get into it, see what happens. Who knows? I could die while filming this episode. You don't know what could happen. You don't know me. But first, before I get into anything, you always got to take care of business first. And you know what? I got a sponsor. And this is a good one. This episode is sponsored by Anne Frank's newly found erotica. Everyone knows her for her diary hiding from the Nazis, but new research has uncovered some of her more erotic content. We will be releasing this new content next week with only 1,000 copies being made. We are naming this newfound writing Anne Frank, Burning Desires from the Corner. Her writing will leave you in ashes and have you coming back for more after each and every sentence. You'll be shocked at the raw emotion that jumps off the pages. When you are thrust into a hot and heavy love affair between Anne and a young SS officer, their chamber of lies will leave you choking on the air around you. Pre-order your copy today at www.annefrankxxx.gov. That's spelled www.annefrankxxx.gov. Wow. Excellent stuff. Some would say that's anti-Semitic, but you know what? I had a bar mitzvah. I come on the side of a French dip, a jus, you get it? So I can be religion racist, anti-Semitic. I can do that. I can do that against myself. Yeah? Isn't it kind of like black people and the N-word? I mean, I can make fun of my own kind, can't I? If you think it's racist, aren't you the racist? Aren't you the one putting those thoughts into whatever? Anyways, so pick up your copy of Anne Frank's erotica today. Burning Desires from the Corner. So, great segue to obviously just start talking about John Harbaugh. Overall, I was glad they brought him back. I thought that would have been a huge mistake to let him go just because of people reporting that he should leave. It didn't seem like they were ever going to do that. It's just, they made the playoffs and someone, I forget who is it? Was it Rappaport? It's like, oh yeah, he's on the hot seat. I was like, oh yeah, Rappaport, you know what you're talking about. After it happens, you're not really the rumor guy, or at least a lot of your rumors just end up not true about the Ravens. But once something happens, he's usually the first to get it. So it's like, oh, is this a rumor, or is there actually something behind this, Mr. Rappaport? Do you even rap? You report. But do you rap purport? What a weird name. Yeah, I guess he's perfect for reporting. Do you think he wears pants in his office? Because he's always just filming. Like, he's got to just put on the coat and be like, yep, I look professional. Good enough for me. But he's in his underwear. Yeah, I bet there's something going on under that desk. He seems like that kind of guy. But they brought John Harbaugh back. Like I said, that's great. He's like, well, I remember when they first hired him, it's like, who is this guy? He came from, or he was a special teams coordinator. So, I think the Ravens viewed him as just a good leader, which is what you need as an offensive, or as a head coach, because you run the whole team. You don't necessarily run each play, but with the league the way it's going now, where everyone's hiring these offensive coordinators to be their head coach, trying to get the new McVay, the Ravens will never have that. They will never have a consistent offense or a consistent defense as long as Harbaugh is the coach. Now, I think the positives of having a good leader, the floor of your team is never going to be that low. We're always, at worst, going to be middle of the pack as long as we have, average drafts, because with that leader, you're going to get the most out of your players. But with that being said, if Greg Roman goes off this year, or Wink Martindale has another good year, those guys are always going to be poached to be head coaches and go somewhere else. So anytime we have success at a coordinator position, they're always going to chase that head coaching job, because our head coach isn't the X's and O's guys. He's the rah-rah, get it together, man. So we're never going to have consistency. We're consistently going to be in the middle of the pack and no worse than that. At least that's my opinion. And that's because of that rah-rah guy. But, our ceiling is stifled over like a 2-year period. If we have success, maybe the coordinators will come back. But then they'll leave after 2 years. If they have crazy success, they'll come back 1 year, hey, let's try to do it again. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But they're going to leave to try to be head coaches. I think that's what most coaches want. They want to be a head coach. And, if you have an offensive coordinator who becomes your head coach, you have his system. And it's just never going to change. It'll change as his philosophies evolve. But that success that he has will always be there with the team. It's not just going to get jettisoned, once he's gone, and then someone else comes in and it's like, I don't know if I want to do it this way. Maybe John Harbaugh could learn the offense, X's and O's a little bit better, maybe call the plays, but I think he's better as a motivational speaker, and and it's just different ways of kind of building your team. It's just, once you have success, it's going to be really hard for you to repeat it with a guy who's not so much X's and O's running the whole thing. But I still like John Harbaugh. The whole Harbaugh family. I was surprised that Jim Harbaugh got fired from San Francisco. I thought that was really dumb. Going to the Super Bowl and then having the Harbaugh. Man, that was one of the craziest things ever. 2 brothers coaching in the Super Bowl. Man, it reminded me of that UFC movie, Warrior. The 2 brothers join the competition, end up battling in the final round, going at it. It's exactly what they were doing. Really impressive stuff. And then now, Jim Harbaugh, I thought he'd have more success at Michigan. I thought he'd be a little bit better at recruiting, or at least getting more of it out of his players, kind of like what John Harbaugh is. But it's pretty cool. I like his interviews. I like John Harbaugh, his interviews. He seems real candid. When he needs to be, he'll kind of hide some information. He does stick to his guys a little bit too much, like Marty Morningwig. But what are you gonna do? That's what all coaches do. And so if they don't seem to be having success, they're gonna stick with their guys. That's what they do. One of my favorite quotes is he quoted Michael Scott in one of the interviews. He says it was something about superstitious. He's like, I'm not superstitious, just a little stitious. I thought that was hilarious. And he seemed real energetic. I don't know how old he is, but he seems young for his age, so he's keeping himself in shape. I wouldn't want a fat coach. No offense to fat people, but you're more likely to be lazy because it takes work to be skinny and be fit. And seeing that in your head coach, you want someone that you want to resemble the perfect guy. You want the team to get behind him. Almost like lead by example. And since his philosophy is like the whole motivational speaker, basically, with knowing how to run clock management. It's like, well, if they ever fired him, who could they turn to? Who would be a good candidate? Because they don't seem to want to hire a coordinator. Like I was thinking about this. Like I was talking to somebody. Like asked me, like, would the Ravens ever hire Ray Lewis as a head coach or a coach? It's like maybe like a linebacker coach, but he's making too much money. But so I think like the only way you could grab him as a coach if he was going to be like a defensive coordinator or a head coach. But X's and O's wise, I know he watched a lot of tape, but I don't know where he's at and how he would call games. I would be on board with it just because I'm a Ray Lewis fan, and just hearing his craziness more and more, like just how chaotic he is and how much CTE he has, I imagine. It's just, I would just love to see it. I would just love to see some more chaos. Because I think his controlled like chaos motivational speaking, I think that'd be good for the defense. He'd get people fired up. Like we would have a crazy defense, like all of them, it'd be like they're on cocaine, but no, they just got to hit a Ray Lewis before each drive, and like a head coach, if he learned how to do like time management and when to challenge, like how to listen to his coordinators, he is super rah rah. Like he's one of the best motivational speakers around, like the planet. Especially when it comes to football specific, he's number one. He's got to be. I think that would be good for a head coach, but in general, I really, really wouldn't want that to happen. Because he's eventually probably going to say something really dumb on an interview, like just start quoting God. It's like, yeah, like speaking of. Like, a lot of players, like, I'd like to thank God. It's like, motherfucker, take credit, bro. Like, why are they giving God credit? Like, did you do nothing here? You literally did nothing. So you didn't score that touchdown. God scored that touchdown. Well, what about the defender who was giving all his praise to God and, you scored over him, huh? Was he more important than you? Or are you more important than him? I just like to thank God for giving me the opportunity to record this podcast and talk Ravens football. Without God, I wouldn't be here today. I don't know, it's more like if your parents didn't fuck, you wouldn't be here today. It's called science. I don't know what's out there. I don't know what happens after you die. But I'm gonna thank a nameless, faceless entity that hasn't proven itself to exist. In actuality, I do believe there is a power that thinks it's greater than myself. Something we can't see, something we can't interact with, or maybe we do. We just don't have the senses to really understand. It reminds me like when they put those mirrors up in the jungle, then animals walk by and freak out. It's like we're seeing a mirror, but we don't understand. Or like a fly. Like I feel like humans, we're like a fly that's trying to get outside, but there's a window there. It just keeps bashing, and we're looking at it as humans. Like, look at that stupid fucking fly. Just go a little bit to the right. There's an opening. And I feel like humans as a race, we are that fly, and there's something else looking at us like, just go a little bit to the right. It's right there. You stupid fuck. Rant about God and spirituality, whatever. John Harbaugh is also really religious. I never liked the religious coaches. Like, it's like, great, you use it, do it on your own time. Don't quote it. Don't use it as a reason for something that happened. like in a few press conferences, like, man, you just gotta thank the glory of God for that, And you're like, no, I don't know. I don't know John Harbaugh. Like, I'm Jewish. I have a different religion, so should I just not believe in what you're saying then? Am I wrong about my beliefs? Should I not be a Ravens fan because I don't believe in God, John Harbaugh? I didn't expect to go off on a religious rant like this, but God damn it, I just really hate when athletes around the world, they gotta thank God for what they did. No, motherfucker, take the credit. You did this. You put in the work. You hit the weight room. You studied. You did this. Take the fucking credit. So, I think John Harbaugh's a great coach, but he's going to credit God for it. No. That's not being humble. That's just being an idiot. Like, you can be humble by saying, hey, I got a lot of help around me. It's all about the players. This is a player sport. Don't just say, God did it. Did he? Do you know that? It's fine if you believe, but you actually know that he's or she is the reason. You know that? Do you? That you're lying to yourself, and that goes to show you the type of person that he kind of is. But I still like John Harbaugh. It's just that shit. It really, really bugs me. I think that's gonna do it. I guess I don't want to go off anymore about religion. So, yeah, I got nothing else to say. If you like the podcast, questions, comments, concerns, you can send me an email at csrpod@gmail.com. That's spelled csrpod@gmail.com. Also, just subscribe if you like it. Like it if you like it. If you're watching like a video, comment, rate it, do all that jazz, or don't. Just I'll go fucking kill myself if you don't. So that'll be on your conscience. Think about that. Also, if you really like the show, you can donate to me and the show through Venmo. Great app. It's on your phone. It's real easy. 5 cents, 6 cents, $5,000. Whatever you want to give. So hit me up on Venmo at CSRPod. That's spelled CSRPOD, and it will be greatly appreciated. I'm looking to get just like a small little mic, something that I can plug straight into my phone, because I just record on my phone, and I'm using like iPhone headphones. I mean, it sounds pretty alright, but I want to just get like that next level of quality. It's just me right now. I want to do some interviews. Like, I got a lot of friends who, since it is Albuquerque, there's a lot of just teams people are fans of. So I got like a friend who's a Patriots fan, a Steelers fan. I got a couple of friends who are Cowboys fans, a Broncos fan. So I kind of want to just I'm like a Titans fan. So I kind of want to do like a series where it's like Gravenson Raven here, talking with a Patriots fan, talking with a Cowboys fan, talking here with a Steelers fan. Just do like a little podcast. We talk football in general, not so much Ravens specific, or I'll kind of get into the teams. I haven't really decided yet, or how I'm gonna do the interview, because recording that kind of stuff, I'm looking into it, and it just seems like there's just so much convoluted equipment. I like how simple it is now with just these headphones in my ear plugged into my phone, and I record. Once I get another person, and because like some of the people you interview, like my really close friend who's a Patriots fan, he's real loud, so I don't know how I'm gonna level the audio if it's just one microphone. But that's for me to worry about. You'll know when that stuff comes out. Also got like 72 downloads. Like, what? To me, that's some banging numbers. Because it was 0 like a little over a week ago. So that's what's up. Having trouble downloading one of these episodes. The episode I did about Greg Roman to YouTube, but I'll have to worry about that. So that's going to do it. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Yes or no? Fish and vodka. Bye bye.